The hum of fluorescent lights buzzes against the polished marble of the Grand Monarch Hotel. Midnight shadows stretch long across the ballroom floor as servers glide silently, collecting champagne glasses and half-eaten desserts. The air still smells of roses and rich perfume, leftovers from another night that belonged to people who could afford to forget it. At the far end of the room, Eli Turner, mid-50s, moves with careful grace, balancing a silver tray like it's part of him. His hands are calloused, his sleeves rolled at the wrist, and his old shoes squeak faintly with each step. He's been on his feet for 14 hours, but there's no sign of complaint, only quiet focus. Manager, snapping. Eli, that table by the fountain, still waiting on fresh napkins. Eli, nodding calm. On it, sir. He moves swiftly, folding each napkin with precision. Every crease straight, every fork aligned. He doesn't look up when younger waiters chuckle nearby. Waiter 1, low voice. How long's he been doing this? Waiter 2. Since before I got here. They say he used to own a shop or something. Waiter 1. Doesn't look like it now. Eli hears it. Doesn't react. Instead, he adjusts a centerpiece, fixes a candle wick, and wipes a smudge from a crystal glass, as if silence itself were his armor. There's a rhythm to surviving when no one notices you. Work becomes a song only you can hear. Quiet, steady, endless. The manager claps twice, breaking the spell. Manager. All right, listen up. Big event this weekend. The Montgomery wedding. Press, politicians, the works. The kind of job that can change lives if you don't screw it up, the crew murmurs. The name lingers in the air like static. Montgomery. Eli freezes mid-step, fingers tightening around the tray. A flicker, something unreadable, crosses his face. Waiter 2, grinning. Change lives, huh? Maybe I'll finally get that promotion. Eli, quietly, to himself. Maybe someone's life already did. He sets the tray down gently, his reflection faint in the silver. For a moment it looks like a stranger staring back, older, worn, and waiting for something he can't name. The lights dim. The ballroom doors close. Outside the city hums. Indifferent. Eli exhales, the word Montgomery echoing in his head like a bell from another lifetime. The night never really ends for those still waiting for dawn. Rain pelts against the cracked window of a rundown apartment. A flickering streetlight outside paints the room in pulses of amber and shadow. Inside, Eli Turner unlocks his door and steps into silence. The faint squeak of his wet shoes and the clinking of coins in his pocket are the only sounds. He removes his waiter's vest, hangs it neatly, then empties the day's tips into a chipped glass jar. The bills are few, the coins many. He counts them slowly, lips moving but voice barely audible. A man keeping score with himself, Eli, murmuring, 57, 58. Rent 75. He exhales, long and heavy. Eli, softly. Almost there, kiddo. He kneels beside his small nightstand. One drawer missing, one handle broken. Resting on top is a torn photograph, edges yellowed with time. A woman's smile on one side, a baby's face on the other, the middle ripped clean. Eli runs a thumb over the baby's cheek in the picture, eyes dim but tender. 2 decades. 20 birthdays missed, and still, he talks to her like she might answer one day. He sits on the edge of his narrow bed, the springs sighing under his weight. The rain softens outside like it too has grown tired. Eli pulls a worn paper calendar from the wall. A date is circled in red. April 15th. Below it, faded ink reads, Lily's birthday. He lights a candle from the drawer, shielding the flame with his palm. It flickers against the photo's torn edge, casting a fragile glow. Eli, quietly, to the photo. Happy birthday, Lily. You'd be 25 today. Hope wherever you are. You're warm and safe. A tear hits the floor before he notices it fell. He wipes his face, exhales slowly, and blows out the candle. Some prayers don't travel through heaven. Some just echo in small rooms and wait to be heard. Eli lies back, staring at the ceiling cracks like constellations of everything he's lost. His eyes drift shut. Outside, thunder rolls, and the phone on his counter begins to ring. Morning light leaks through thin curtains, landing across Eli's weathered face. The old phone on the counter still hums from the missed call. He rubs his eyes, sits up, and reaches for it. A blinking red light. One voicemail. He presses play. A familiar voice crackles through static. Manager. Voicemail. Eli, you there? Listen, we've got a big one this weekend. Real high-class event. The Montgomery wedding. Full staff required. You've been requested personally. Double pay if you can handle the long hours. Call me back before noon. Click. Eli just sits there. The name Montgomery landing like a pebble dropped into deep water. Ripples of memory spreading slow and painful. Eli, muttering. Montgomery. He shakes his head, dismissing the ghost in the syllables. Life has a cruel way of circling back, offering you the same pain, wrapped in better pay. He dials back, Eli. It's Eli. You still need me? Manager, over phone. Need? More like rely on. Be here Friday morning. Suit pressed, shoes polished. Don't be late, Turner. Eli. Wouldn't dream of it. He hangs up, sets the phone down, and stares at the wall clock. Its hands stuck between 6 and 7, refusing to move. Eli moves around the room, gathering his uniform. He smooths out wrinkles with the palm of his hand, polishes his old shoes with a torn cloth. Every motion is deliberate, humble, like ritual. He opens the drawer again, glancing once more at the photograph of baby Lily. His eyes soften, Eli, to the photo. Looks like I've got another long weekend ahead, kiddo. Maybe this one'll be different. He places the photo gently back inside, closes the drawer halfway, leaving it open, like a wound not ready to heal. Hope doesn't always arrive dressed in promises. Sometimes it shows up disguised as work. And you take it, because what else is there? Eli grabs his keys, steps outside into the morning. The wind carries the smell of rain-soaked asphalt, and somewhere distant, church bells ring. He doesn't notice his bus driving past a billboard. The Montgomery wedding, a celebration of legacy and love. Eli turns toward it just as the bus pulls away, revealing the smiling bride on the poster. Her last name burns in gold letters. Rain again. But this time it's 20 years ago. The colors are warmer, softer, before everything hardened. A younger Eli Turner, late 20s, stands at the doorway of a tiny apartment with peeling paint and a baby's crib beside a flickering TV. The room smells of baby powder and coffee gone cold. A crying infant wails in the background. Lily, his wife, Claire, paces the room, suitcase half-packed, her face drawn tight with frustration. Eli, pleading. Claire, please, just give me a few more weeks. The shop's slow, but I'm getting there. Claire, snapping. Getting there? Eli, we've been getting there for 3 years. You fix everyone's problems but your own. She shoves clothes into the bag. The baby's cry grows louder. Eli. She's all we have, Claire. Please don't do this. Claire, coldly. I'm not raising her in a place where the power gets cut off every month. She deserves better. Eli grabs her wrist gently, desperate. Eli. I'll find something else. I'll work nights, anything. Claire. You already do. And it's still not enough. He thought love could fill the spaces money couldn't. But poverty has a way of echoing louder than vows. Claire picks up the baby, rocking her gently now, softening only for Lily. Claire, quietly. You'll thank me one day, sweetheart. Eli, breaking. She'll hate you for it. Claire turns toward the door. The rain outside pounds harder, blurring the world beyond. Eli blocks the doorway, trembling but resolute. Eli. I'm her father. You can't just walk away. Claire, watch me. She steps around him. The door slams. That sound, wood meeting frame, was louder than thunder. It was the sound of something closing forever. Eli stumbles toward the crib. It's empty now. Only a tiny blanket remains, embroidered with her name. Lily. He sinks to the floor, clutching it to his chest. Outside, lightning flashes, illuminating a newspaper blowing against the window. He turns it over with shaking hands. The headline reads, "Prominent businessman William Montgomery marries Claire Turner in private ceremony." Eli stares at it, rain dripping from his chin, disbelief carving lines across his face. Eli, whispering, Montgomery, the same name, the same ghost. The lightning fades, taking the memory with it. We return to present-day Eli, staring blankly out the bus window, that same name now, printed across banners and billboards. His reflection overlaps with the bride's smiling face. Golden sunlight spills through the tall glass windows of the Grand Monarch Hotel ballroom. Chandeliers glimmer above like captured constellations. Staff move briskly across the marble floor, each carrying trays, silverware, and linens. A ballet of precision and exhaustion. At the center of it all, Eli Turner adjusts a row of crystal glasses, his reflection refracted in their curves. The manager's voice cuts through the air like a whip. Manager, come on, people! The Montgomery wedding isn't just another job. It's press, sponsors, celebrities. Everything must be flawless. Waiter 1, sarcastic whisper. Flawless like his temper, huh? Eli doesn't smile. He keeps polishing, quiet as ever. His movements are unhurried, steady. Each gesture deliberate, almost meditative. Eli, under his breath. Slow hands, steady mind. Don't rush the beauty. His younger co-worker, Nina, notices. Nina. You always talk to the dishes, Turner? Eli, smiling faintly. Someone's got to listen around here. They share a brief laugh, the only lightness in the room. It wasn't pride that kept Eli here. It was habit. When life takes everything from you, sometimes routine is the only thing that stays. Eli moves toward the back table where floral arrangements are being prepped. He pauses, straightening a few roses. He adjusts their angles, adds one missing bloom from a side bucket. Tiny gestures, invisible artistry. Nina, watching. You've got an eye for this stuff. Ever think about doing something else? Eli thought about it. Then the thinking stopped paying the bills. She opens her mouth to reply but freezes as a courier walks in, holding a sleek white envelope embossed with gold lettering. Courier, delivery for the head planner. Montgomery wedding. Final details. The manager snatches it, flips through photos, and lays one on the table. The bride's portrait. Everyone leans closer. Compliments ripple through the room. Nina. She's gorgeous. Looks like royalty. Eli glances at the photo, and the world narrows. The air leaves his lungs. The young woman's smile. Those same eyes. He takes an almost imperceptible step closer, his hands trembling. The soft light catches the photo. The bride wearing a necklace shaped like a tiny lily flower. Eli. Whisper, broken. No. Sometimes the past doesn't knock before entering. It just walks right in, wearing white. The photo slips from his fingers and flutters to the floor, landing face up beside his shoes. Eli stares at it, his lips parting soundlessly as if trying to breathe her name again after 2 decades. The photo lies on the polished floor, the bride's face shining under the chandelier's gold shimmer. Eli Turner stands frozen above it, his breath uneven. Around him, chatter continues. Plates clink. Music hums faintly from a nearby rehearsal hall. The world moves. He doesn't. He crouches slowly, his rough hands trembling as they reach for the picture. When he turns it upright, the words printed along the bottom read, Lily Montgomery, David Callan, a celebration of forever. Lily. His Lily. The name alone punches the air from his lungs. Time has a cruel way of looping back on itself. Just when you finally learned to live forward. 20 years of wondering, praying, surviving, only to find the one thing he lost standing in front of him, in a gown meant for someone else. Nina, noticing his stillness. Hey, you okay, Turner? You look like you've seen a ghost. Eli straightens, the photo pressed against his apron. He forces a faint smile, voice barely steady, Eli. Yeah. Guess I have. He walks toward the back hallway, away from the crowd, clutching the photograph like something sacred or dangerous. In the quiet of the supply room, he sits on a stack of folded linens. His thumb traces the edges of the photo again and again, like trying to memorize her face through touch. She's grown, radiant, but the tilt of her smile, the dimple on her left cheek, they're her mother's and his. He looks up, eyes glassy, Eli, whispering, "My baby's getting married." The words crack open in the air, as if saying them breaks something inside him that's been sealed too long. For 20 years, he'd carried guilt like it was oxygen, convinced he'd failed her. Now she stood at the edge of a new life, one he had no place in. And for the first time in decades, he didn't know whether to smile or break down. He folds the photo neatly and tucks it into his vest pocket. The hum of the ballroom returns faintly through the door. Laughter, clinking glass, life moving on without him. Eli stands, steadying himself, wiping at his eyes before stepping back out into the light. As he re-enters the ballroom, a gust of wind from the open doors lifts a strand of rose petals off the tables, swirling around him like confetti from a dream he never got to attend. Eli, quietly, "She's so close, and she doesn't even know me." He turns toward the grand staircase, heart heavy, as the event planner calls out, "Everyone ready for the Montgomery rehearsal tomorrow." Eli closes his eyes. Fate isn't knocking anymore. It's inside the room. Night has settled over the city again. The hotel ballroom stands empty now, chairs stacked, candles burned low. Eli lingers by the window, still wearing his catering vest. The soft glow of streetlights reflects against the glass, painting faint halos around his tired reflection. He looks down at the photo of Lily Montgomery, unfolded now, edges worn from his grip. Her smile seems to stare back at him like an echo from a life he barely remembers. "Nina," from behind. "You're still here?" Eli, softly. "Guess I lost track of time." She steps closer, curious. "Nina, you look like you've got something heavy on your mind." He folds the photo and slips it into his pocket. "Eli, some things are too old to carry, too painful to drop." Nina studies him for a beat, then nods slowly, understanding without asking. "Nina, whatever it is, maybe this wedding will be good luck. Everyone needs a little light once in a while." Eli forces a faint smile, but his eyes betray him. He wanted to tell someone, anyone, that the bride was his child. But words like that could destroy a life in seconds, and fathers who've been absent don't get to crash happy endings. Eli walks alone through the empty corridor. The floor reflects the chandelier's faint light, his shadow stretching long beside him. He pauses by the grand doors of the ballroom, peering in one last time. Rows of tables stand ready for joy. The stage where vows will be spoken gleams beneath soft ivory drapes. He grips the doorknob, whispers to himself, "Eli," quietly. "Let her have her day. Don't take that from her." He releases the handle and walks away, his footsteps echoing in the still air. Some silences are acts of love. Some are punishments disguised as protection. Eli wasn't sure which this one was. He steps outside into the night. The cool air hits his face, heavy with the scent of rain. As thunder murmurs in the distance, Eli closes his eyes and breathes deep, whispering a prayer only the dark can hear. "Eli, whisper, please, let her be happy." Lightning flickers far away, faint, but growing closer. Morning unfolds in soft gold. The Grand Monarch Hotel glows like a cathedral of light, roses climbing every pillar, white ribbons swaying from balcony rails. Outside, luxury cars roll up the drive. Cameras flash, laughter spills into the air. Inside, Eli Turner stands by the catering station, adjusting his bow tie in the reflection of a silver tray. His hands are steady, but his eyes carry the weight of something unspoken. He watches as guests flood in, men in tailored suits, women in gowns that shimmer like the morning itself. The hum of conversation fills the grand hall. The smell of lilies and champagne laces the air. Nina, whispering, excited. Can you believe this, Turner? Half the city's elite in one room. Look at those dresses. Look at that chandelier. Eli, half smiling. I've seen prettier lights on back roads. Nina, grinning. You and your small-town poetry. Eli glances toward the grand staircase. And there, for the first time since that torn photograph, Lily appears. She descends slowly, surrounded by bridesmaids, her white gown glimmering under the crystal lights. For Eli, everything stops. Sound, breath, thought. The chatter fades into soft reverb, replaced by the beating of his own heart. She laughs with someone beside her. A pure, open laugh he recognizes instantly. It's the same sound she made as a baby when he'd blow bubbles against her tiny palms. He grips the tray tighter. For 20 years, he dreamed of what she might look like. But dreams never come with this kind of ache. Beauty painted over distance, joy wrapped in the shape of someone you can't touch. Waiter 2, low whisper to Nina. That's her. Lily Montgomery. The Montgomery heiress. Nina, awed. She looks like an angel. Waiter 2. Word is, the groom's family isn't all too happy. There's talk of money troubles, or a scandal. Eli's head turns slightly at the word scandal. His chest tightens. Nina. What kind of scandal? Waiter 2, shrugging. Nobody knows yet, but something's off. The music swells. Lily steps onto the ballroom floor, radiant and unaware that her father is standing only a few feet away, carrying trays, hidden behind the noise of her new world. Eli's gaze lingers as she's swept into a crowd of family and photographers. He exhales softly, the whisper almost a prayer. Eli, you made it, baby girl. You made it. Outside, dark clouds begin to form. Subtle, but heavy. The scent of rain seeps through the open balcony doors. Thunder rolls faintly across the horizon. Eli looks toward the sky, his jaw tightening, something deep in him. The same instinct that once woke him when she cried as a baby stirs again. Eli, quietly. Storm's coming. Late afternoon. The rehearsal dinner buzzes beneath chandeliers and clinking glasses. Guests chatter over string music. Waiters glide through aisles like ghosts in black and white. Eli stands near the edge of the ballroom, refilling glasses, watching the celebration unfold through the quiet distance of someone who doesn't belong. His daughter, Lily Montgomery, sits at the head table, radiant and composed, though her smile flickers now and then like a candle's uncertain flame. Across from her, the groom, David Callan, leans close to a groomsman, whispering something with a grin that doesn't reach his eyes. Nina, under breath, beside Eli. Doesn't he seem off to you? Eli, quietly. What do you mean? Nina. I mean, look at him. Laughing too hard, checking his phone every few minutes. It's like he's somewhere else. Eli follows her gaze. David's hand lingers on his phone again. A brief flash of a message notification reflected in his wine glass. Can't wait to see you tonight. Eli's chest tightens. Eli, low. Keep your voice down. Nina, frowning. You think he's... Eli, not our business. But even as he said it, Eli felt that old pull. The same instinct that used to wake him in the middle of the night when Lily cried. A father's body remembers things his heart tries to forget. From across the room, David rises, phone still in hand. He excuses himself and heads toward the corridor leading outside to the gardens. Eli's eyes follow him automatically. Nina, whispering, Don't. He's not your problem. Eli doesn't answer. He simply sets his tray down and wipes his palms against his apron. Slowly, deliberately. He tells himself it's curiosity, but it feels like something older, deeper. He moves toward the doorway, unnoticed among the bustle. Nina, calling softly after him. Turner, where are you going? Eli, without looking back. Just checking the glasses outside. The air outside is cooler, damp with the scent of approaching rain. The laughter inside fades behind the heavy doors. Eli steps into the dim corridor, watching as David's silhouette disappears beyond the archway of the garden, phone still in hand, smirking at whatever secret the world hasn't caught yet. Eli stops at the edge of the light, half in shadow. He didn't know what he was looking for. Truth, maybe. Or maybe just a reason to stop feeling like the world was about to take his daughter away again. A sudden flash of lightning cuts across the horizon, followed by the faintest echo of a woman's laughter. Not Lily's, but someone else's, coming from the garden where the groom had gone. Eli's jaw tightens. His instincts sharpen. Eli, muttering, "No, not again." The corridor lights hum faintly. Eli stands still, listening. The distant laughter from the garden fades into the rhythm of rain starting to fall. He doesn't follow the sound right away. Instead, his breath trembles, and his mind drifts. 20 years backward, to a night that never stopped replaying. Flashback begins. A tiny room, dim and trembling under the storm outside. Rain drums on the roof as young Eli cradles baby Lily in his arms. Her cheeks are red from crying, her fists balled tight. He rocks her gently, his voice a soft whisper drowned by thunder. Flashback, Eli. Younger, soothing. "Shh, Daddy's here. You don't have to cry." Claire, from another room, frustrated. "She's hungry again? I can't keep doing this, Eli." He looks toward the doorway, sees Claire pacing. Exhausted. Distant, Eli. "I'll take her. You rest." He hums softly, an old lullaby from his own mother, swaying slowly with Lily against his chest. Eli, whispering, emotional. "I'll never let anyone hurt you. Not ever. That's my promise, Lilybug. You'll never cry alone." Lily's cries soften. Her little hand curls around his finger. The moment freezes in time. Fragile, sacred. He didn't know then how easily life breaks promises. He didn't know that love alone can't keep people safe from the world. Back to present. The thunder returns. Louder this time. The garden door rattles with wind. Eli blinks, the vision fading. He's back in the hallway, his reflection faint in the rain-streaked glass. He touches the pocket where the folded photograph rests, his hand trembling. Eli, softly. "You'll never cry alone." But she's crying for someone else now. From the garden, the faint silhouette of David appears again, and beside him, a woman's arm brushes his chest. Their laughter cuts through the storm like glass. Eli's heart sinks, the old promise echoing in his head until it hurts. Lightning flashes. Eli steps out into the rain, silent, eyes locked on the figures by the fountain. Some promises haunt you not because you broke them, but because life did it for you. Rain falls harder now, silver lines streaking down the garden lanterns. The music from inside the ballroom fades to a muffled hum as Eli Turner steps outside, tray forgotten, eyes fixed on the shadows near the fountain. Under the marble arch, David Callan stands too close to another woman, a brunette in a sequined dress. Her laugh is low, private, meant for no one else to hear. David's hand grazes her arm, his thumb tracing her skin like a man who's done this before. David, smirking. "You shouldn't have come here." Woman. "You told me you missed me." David, shrugging. "I do, but we have to be careful. After the ceremony, I'll figure something out." Eli watches from behind the stone pillar, the rain dripping off his brow. His jaw clenches, breath shallow. Woman, teasing. "Figure something out? You're marrying her tomorrow." David. "Her father's company." Don't confuse the two. Eli's entire body goes still. The words hit like a physical blow. Some men can lie with charm so smooth it sounds like truth. But to a father, deceit aimed at his daughter is a sound that cuts bone. David leans in to kiss the woman. Eli's hand twitches, every muscle urging him forward. To stop it, to drag the man back inside and make him confess before she ever says, "I do." But the storm grows heavier. The water running down his face could be rain, or fury. Eli, under breath. Don't do it, kid." Nina, suddenly behind him, whispering, "Turner, what are you doing out here?" He startles, turns. She's holding an umbrella, eyes wide with concern. Eli, low. "Go back inside." Nina, "What's going on?" He glances toward the fountain again. The woman is gone. David already heading back inside, adjusting his tie, his face untouched by guilt. Eli, "Nothing good." For 20 years, Eli had buried the part of himself that used to fight, the man who once believed he could protect the people he loved. Tonight, that part woke up again. Eli wipes his wet hands on his vest, steadying his breath. The wedding hall glows through the glass doors. Warm, bright, full of blind joy. He steps closer to the door, his reflection merging with the light, as if he's deciding whether to walk into hell itself. Inside, Lily laughs with her bridesmaids unaware. Outside, her father watches. Thunder rumbling like a warning only he can hear. Eli, quietly, to himself. "If he breaks her heart, I swear, I'll break his world." The rain has stopped, but thunder still rolls in the distance. Inside the Grand Monarch Hotel, chandeliers burn bright again. Soft light bouncing off polished glass and laughter. Eli Turner re-enters the ballroom, his wet shoes squeaking against the marble. The scent of lilies and champagne mixes with something heavier. Tension, like a note held too long in the air. He watches David Callan, now arm in arm with Lily, guiding her through the room, greeting guests as if nothing had happened outside. His charm is flawless, his grin practiced. Eli clenches his jaw. The anger inside him is quiet, not wild, but cold and exact. Nina, whispering, "You're shaking, Turner. You okay?" Eli, tight-lipped. "I'm fine." Nina, "You sure? You've been watching that guy all night." Eli, "Just keeping an eye on things. That's the job." She studies him for a moment, then shrugs. Nina, "Whatever you say. Just don't do something stupid. People like them don't forgive mistakes." Eli, bitter smile. People like them never pay for theirs either. He had spent 2 decades learning when to stay quiet, when silence was safer than truth. But tonight, silence tasted like rust. Eli carries a tray of wine glasses to the main table. His movements are smooth, automatic, but his eyes stay locked on David. The groom's laugh fills the space, empty, hollow. Every word he says to Lily is a lie wrapped in sweetness. Lily beams up at him, her joy pure, untouched by what Eli knows. He forces himself to keep moving, to keep breathing. Eli, under breath, "Don't ruin her day. Not yet." Manager, hissing, "Turner, quit standing around like a statue. Table 6 needs refills." Eli, without turning, "Yes, sir." The manager leans in, lowering his voice. "Manager, and keep your head down. The Montgomerys are the reason we're all getting paid this week. Don't start sniffing around their business." Eli turns his head just enough for the man to see the steel in his eyes. Eli, calm but sharp. "Someone should." The manager frowns, confused. Manager, "What did you say?" Eli sets down the tray, forcing a placid smile. Eli, "Nothing, sir. Just thinking out loud." Rage has a sound, not loud, but steady, like the hum of a storm waiting for its cue. The string quartet shifts songs. A soft waltz begins. Lily takes David's hand and steps onto the dance floor. Their movements are elegant, picture perfect. But Eli can't unsee the smirk that curls at the corner of David's mouth when he spins her. The smirk of a man who's already lying through the dance. Eli's chest rises, tight, controlled. He grips a napkin so hard it tears in his palm. As the music swells, the camera pans from the dancing couple to Eli, standing still in the corner, drenched in light and shadow. His face unreadable, his eyes burning. Eli, low to himself. Then who will? The ballroom has emptied for the night. Servers clear plates, musicians pack up, and laughter fades down the hallway. Only a few stray candles flicker on the tables, their light catching faint trails of steam from forgotten wine glasses. At the far corner, Eli Turner stands alone by the catering station, polishing the same silver goblet over and over. The soft clink of metal against cloth becomes a rhythm, a metronome for his thoughts. Once, he used to imagine this moment differently, not as a stranger serving drinks at her wedding, but as the father giving a toast. Trembling hands, proud heart, tears hidden behind a smile. The speech was always ready, just waiting for a day that never came. He sets the goblet down and looks out toward the grand hall. The faint sound of Lily's laughter still echoes in the corners. Not from today, but from his memory. He clears his throat, as if standing before invisible guests. The room is empty except for ghosts and candlelight. Eli, softly, rehearsing. If I could say one thing about my daughter, it's that she was born with light in her eyes. Even when the world got dark, she found her way. He pauses, searching for words that feel real. Eli, quiet, almost breaking. I missed a lot of years, too many. But every time I looked at the stars, I wondered if she was under the same sky. His voice trembles. Eli. To the girl who doesn't know her father's here, may life be kinder to you than it ever was to me. He raises the goblet to the empty room. His reflection in the silver looks older, smaller. He gives a faint smile. It wasn't much of a toast, but it was the only one he would ever give. Whispered to silence, drowned by chandeliers, witnessed by no one. A door creaks open behind him. Faint footsteps approach. A soft voice, fragile and familiar, breaks the stillness. Lily, off-screen. Hello? Is someone still here? Eli freezes. His hand tightens around the glass. Moonlight filters through the tall, arched windows of the ballroom. The celebration has long ended. Silence clings to the air like perfume after a storm. Eli stands perfectly still beside a table of half-cleared plates, his back to the door. The faint echo of heels clicks across the marble. Lily Montgomery enters slowly. No crowd, no cameras, no smile. Her hair is undone now, curls falling loose over her shoulders. She carries her shoes in one hand, bouquet in the other, moving like someone trying not to wake her own pain. Lily, muttering, to herself. You can fake it for one more day, Lily. Just one more. She stops by the grand mirror, staring at her reflection. Her voice breaks. Lily, you're supposed to be happy. Why don't you feel happy? Eli stays frozen in the corner, hidden behind a decorative pillar. He can hear her breath shaking, the small sob she tries to swallow. She sets her bouquet down, petals scattering. Her phone buzzes. A message lighting the screen. Can't wait to see you again soon. D. Her face crumples. She didn't know the man behind that message was her father's living nightmare, and he didn't know that the sound of her crying would be the first thing to break him in 20 years. Lily sinks onto a chair, her hands trembling. Tears spill silently down her cheeks. She speaks again, not to anyone, but to the empty room. Lily, softly. He's not the man I thought. The words slice through Eli's chest like glass. He exhales, steady but trembling, his hand pressed against the pillar to keep from stepping forward. Eli, under breath. Oh, sweetheart. He almost says her name. His lips part. The word right there, Lily. But he swallows it back down like poison. Lily, sniffling. Why can't I ever be enough? Eli closes his eyes, tears tracing lines down his weathered face. Every father dreams of protecting his child from heartbreak. But heartbreak is the only thing he ever gave her, even without being there. Lily gathers her things, wipes her eyes, and stands. She forces her face back into something resembling composure. Eli steps back deeper into the shadows as she walks past him, so close he could reach out and brush the fabric of her dress. He doesn't. He just watches, silent, as she leaves the ballroom and disappears down the hall. When she's gone, Eli's trembling hand finds the edge of her fallen bouquet. He kneels, picking it up slowly. A single white petal clings to his palm, soft and cold. He closes his eyes and whispers the word he couldn't before. Eli, whispering, Lily. Outside, thunder rolls again. Quiet, distant, waiting. Morning breaks with pale light pouring through the ballroom's high windows. The air smells of polished wood and fresh flowers. The calm before the day's chaos. Staff bustle everywhere, arranging napkins, testing microphones, tying ribbons on chairs. The hum of preparation fills the room. Eli Turner moves through it all quietly, eyes focused, steps measured. He blends into the rhythm of movement, but his mind is miles away, still hearing her tears from the night before. Nina, cheerful. Big day, Turner. You ready to serve the richest crowd in town? Eli, softly. Ready as I'll ever be. She grins, nudging him lightly. Nina. You'd make a great dad, you know that? You've got patience most people don't. Eli freezes for a fraction of a second, then hides it with a faint nod. Eli. Patience comes easy when you've already lost what matters. Nina tilts her head, sensing depth she can't name, but before she can respond, the door opens. Lily enters with her bridesmaids. She's breathtaking, sunlight weaving gold through her veil. Her laugh is gentle again, though there's still something fragile behind it. Eli turns away before anyone notices him watching, but fate, as always, finds its way back. As she moves past the dessert table, the edge of her gown catches on the tablecloth. Something small glints, spins. A metallic clink echoes through the silence. Her wedding ring hits the marble floor. The entire room freezes. Lily, startled. Oh! Eli reacts instinctively. He steps forward faster than anyone else and kneels. His hand catches the ring before it rolls away. When he looks up, their eyes meet. For the first time. Time fractures. Her face softens with a polite smile. She doesn't recognize him, but something in her gaze lingers. A flicker of unexplainable familiarity. Lily, gentle. Thank you. Eli's voice barely escapes his throat. Eli, softly. Careful with that one. It means more than it looks. She smiles again, faint, distracted, and takes the ring. Lily, you sound like my dad. He used to say things like that. Eli swallows hard, forcing his hands behind his back before they shake. Eli, quiet, smart man. For a moment the years vanished. He wasn't a waiter, and she wasn't a stranger. Just a father holding his daughter's future in his palm, afraid to close his fist. Lily slips the ring back onto her finger and turns away, laughing softly with her bridesmaids. Eli stays kneeling for a moment longer, his hands still trembling where the ring had rested. A low rumble of thunder rolls outside, and the chandeliers flicker faintly. He exhales through his teeth, watching her vanish into the crowd again, the ring gleaming on her hand like a cruel reminder. Eli, to himself, whispering, You almost saw me. Afternoon settles into a strange stillness. Outside the Grand Monarch Hotel, dark clouds gather like slow-moving smoke over the skyline. The air thickens, humid, electric. Inside, the ballroom hums with controlled chaos. Staff rush to meet deadlines. Florists carry bouquets. Musicians tune their strings. Eli Turner moves through it all quietly, a steady figure in a storm of motion. His white gloves are damp with sweat, his shirt collar slightly open. Every so often, he glances toward the balcony windows, drawn to the dark horizon pressing closer. Nina, grinning nervously. Sky looks angry today. Eli, dryly. Maybe it knows what's coming. Nina. That's poetic. And creepy. Eli offers a faint smile, but his eyes stay distant. A crack of thunder rolls overhead, long and low. The chandeliers sway slightly. Guests murmur. Manager, clapping loudly. Focus, everyone. Power flickers. We stay calm. We have backup generators. The show goes on no matter what. He turns toward Eli. Manager. Turner, check the outside terrace lights before the ceremony starts. Don't make the bride trip in the dark. Eli nods and heads toward the balcony doors. The moment he steps outside, the air hits him, heavy with the smell of rain and roses. The wind picks up, tugging at tablecloths and napkins. Below, the city stretches in silver gray. Above, lightning flashes silently between clouds, too distant to strike. Not yet. He looks up. Some storms arrive with warning. Others have been building for years, quietly, inside a man's chest. Through the glass doors behind him, Eli sees the reflection of Lily and David rehearsing their first dance. Her smile looks soft but his? His eyes flick to his phone mid-spin, his jaw tight. Eli feels the pressure of the storm shift, as if nature itself recognizes a lie. The wind howls suddenly, scattering petals across the balcony floor. He steadies a chair before it topples, muttering, "Eli, storm's coming." He doesn't just mean the weather. Nina, calling from inside. "Hey, you okay out there, Turner?" Eli without turning. "Yeah, just keeping the sky from falling." The wind dies down. For now. But in the stillness that follows, he feels it. The sense that everything beautiful here is about to break. A lightning bolt cracks in the distance, followed by a sharp pop. The chandeliers inside flicker once, then dim. A murmur sweeps through the guests. Eli steps back inside, glancing at Lily one last time. She laughs unaware. He knows the weather's not the only thing turning. The ballroom lights flicker but hold steady. Guests continue mingling, unaware of the storm pressing closer outside. The air hums faintly with tension, the kind that crawls beneath laughter and champagne. Eli Turner moves through the crowd, refilling glasses, his eyes darting between the bride and groom. Lily shines beneath the chandeliers, unaware that her world stands on the edge of collapse. David's charm, meanwhile, feels practiced, too smooth, too confident. Near the back, the groom's mother, Evelyn Callan, sits alone at a corner table, swirling her wine. Her lips are tight, her face pale. Two women approach, friends from her social circle, all pearls and polite poison. Friend one, whispering, "Evelyn, dear, you look like you've seen a ghost." Evelyn, flatly, "Something like that." Friend two, chuckling, "Don't tell us the Montgomerys intimidated you. They're filthy rich, but hardly royal." Evelyn sets her glass down a bit too hard, the sound sharp against the soft music. Evelyn, "Intimidated? No. Disgusted, maybe." The women exchange uneasy glances. Friend one, "What do you mean?" Evelyn, bitter, "He's marrying her for her father's company. That's all. It's a business deal wearing a tuxedo." Their laughter dies immediately. Eli freezes mid-step, a tray of flutes in his hands. He's standing just behind a floral divider, close enough to hear every word. Friend two, "Evelyn, you can't be serious." Evelyn, "I am. I told David this would end badly. But he never listens. He only sees dollar signs." Friend one, gasping, "Does the girl know?" Evelyn, shaking her head, "No, poor thing. She'll find out when the ink dries and the honeymoon's over." The friends murmur something sympathetic, but Evelyn waves them off, her voice lower now, a tremor of regret breaking through. Evelyn, "I raised him wrong. I thought I was giving him ambition. I gave him greed instead. Some truths aren't meant for the world to hear, only for those who stumble upon them by accident." Eli hadn't meant to listen, but now he'd never be able to forget. He sets the tray down, staring into space. The laughter, the music, the sparkle. It all fades under the weight of what he's just heard. His chest rises, slow but heavy. His knuckles whiten around the edge of the tablecloth. Nina, approaching, whispering, "You okay? You look sick." He doesn't answer. His eyes flick toward Lily, laughing near the stage, her happiness untouched, still believing in tomorrow. Eli, low, "He's marrying her for money." Nina, startled, "What? Who told you that?" Eli, "Doesn't matter. Just means she's not safe." Nina stares at him, realization dawning. Nina, worried, "Turner, don't do anything stupid." Eli, steady, "I already did nothing once. I'm not repeating that mistake." Thunder cracks outside, shaking the windows. Guests gasp, then laugh it off as the lights flicker again. Eli doesn't flinch. He's staring straight at David. whose smile now looks like a mask waiting to crack. The storm had arrived, but the lightning wouldn't strike the sky first. It would strike the truth. The sky outside the Grand Monarch Hotel has turned the color of steel. The storm presses close enough to rattle the chandeliers above. Inside, guests take their seats as soft piano music fills the air. Delicate, elegant, too calm for what's coming. Eli Turner stands near the back of the ballroom, tray in hand, gaze fixed on the grand aisle draped in ivory and gold. He's not breathing so much as bracing. Every sound feels amplified. The clink of a glass, the shuffling of feet, the hum of camera flashes. Behind him, staff whisper nervously about the weather, but Eli hears only his heartbeat. "Nina," softly. "You sure you're all right?" Eli, without looking away. "Storm's just getting closer." Nina. "The sky or the people?" Eli, "Both." A faint smile flickers across Nina's face. She doesn't understand, not really. And she moves on. At the altar, the groom adjusts his cufflinks, perfects his tie, and flashes a grin that doesn't reach his eyes. Eli catches that grin. It's the same one he saw in the garden. The grin of a man who knows how to lie with style. Some people look happiest right before they break something beautiful. The wedding coordinator gives a subtle cue. The music swells. Guests rise, turning toward the back of the aisle. The double doors open. Lily Montgomery stands there, radiant, trembling breath caught between excitement and fear. Her veil glows in the soft chandelier light. The crowd sighs in awe. Eli's throat tightens. His fingers grip the tray until his knuckles pale. Efficient, gentle. "Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the bride." Eli watches her take her first steps down the aisle, his little girl, walking toward the same mistake her mother made. He wanted to scream, to stop the music, to tell her the truth, but all he could do was stand there, a ghost in a white-laced dream. Lily passes close by him. For a moment her perfume, soft lilac and rain, brushes past. Her eyes lift briefly, meeting his by pure accident. Something flickers. Familiar. Gone before it's real. The officiant's voice echoes through the grand hall. Officiant. "Lily Montgomery, do you take—" Before he can finish, thunder cracks loud enough to shake the ceiling. The chandeliers sway. The lights flicker once, twice, and die. Screams ripple through the crowd as lightning illuminates every face. Fear, confusion, and a groom's smirk that doesn't fade. Darkness swallows the ballroom. A single flash of lightning spills through the tall windows, lighting faces in frozen horror. Gasps, murmurs, cell phones glowing faintly like fireflies in the dark. The generator hums to life, and the chandeliers flicker back on. But the calm doesn't return, because at the front of the aisle the chaos has already begun. Eli Turner lowers his tray slowly, eyes narrowing as a woman in a red dress storms through the grand doors. Drenched, furious, unstoppable. Woman, shouting, "David Callan!" The entire room falls silent. The groom stiffens, his confident grin collapsing in an instant. "David," gritted teeth. "This isn't the time." Woman, "Oh, I think it is. Tell them who I am, David. Tell them how long we've been together." The guests erupt into murmurs. Cameras flash. Lily freezes halfway to the altar, her bouquet trembling in her hands. "Lily," barely a whisper. "What? What is she talking about?" Truth doesn't wait for ceremony. It rips through silk and flowers like a knife. Ugly, raw, and loud. Eli's entire body tightens. He takes a half step forward, instinctively moving toward Lily. Nina grabs his arm. Nina, hissing, "Turner, stay back!" Eli, low, furious. "I can't." At the altar, David tries to recover. David, pleading, "Lily, listen, she's lying." Woman, screaming, "Lying? You told me you loved me last night. You said after the wedding you'd fix everything." The room gasps. Reporters begin snapping photos. The storm outside rages louder. wind howling against the glass as if nature itself were protesting. Lily's hands shake. Her eyes dart between them, disbelief cracking into heartbreak. Lily. Hoarse. David. Is it true? David opens his mouth, but no words come out. His silence is an answer. Her knees almost buckle. The bouquet slips from her hand and scatters across the marble like broken light. And there it was. The sound no father wants to hear. Not the crying of a child, but the silence of one whose heart just shattered. Eli drops his tray. The sound echoes, metal clattering across the floor. Every head turns toward him. He doesn't care. His eyes are on Lily, pale, trembling, lost. For a moment, time slows. The storm outside flashes white against the glass. Lily turns and runs, veil trailing like a ghost behind her, straight through the double doors into the rain. Eli hesitates only for a breath before following her. Nina, calling after him. Turner, stop, but he's already gone. Into the storm, into the moment he's been waiting 20 years for. The ballroom doors slam open, and the world outside explodes in rain. Wind howls across the marble courtyard, tearing petals from the flower arches. Lightning flashes white across the sky, reflecting in the puddles that scatter beneath Lily's bare feet as she runs. Her veil trails behind her like a wounded banner, catching in the wind and snapping free. Eli Turner bursts out seconds later, soaked, breathless, his shoes splashing through the rain. There are moments when instinct drowns out reason, when the heart moves before the mind remembers who it's supposed to be. This was one of them. Eli, shouting, Lily, wait! She doesn't turn, her sobs mix with the rain. He follows her down the long garden path, past fountains and scattered decorations, the storm blurring everything into streaks of motion and grief. Lily, crying out, Don't follow me! Just leave me alone. Eli slows, just enough to keep her in sight. Eli, voice breaking. I can't. Not anymore. Lightning splits the sky as Lily trips on the edge of her gown. She falls hard, hands catching the wet gravel. Eli reaches her within seconds, kneeling beside her. She looks up, mascara streaking down her face, eyes wide with devastation. Lily, sobbing. Why would he do this? Why would anyone do this to me? Eli's breath trembles, his voice barely above the storm. Eli. Because some men mistake love for power, and people like us pay the price. She stares at him. The words strike something she can't name. He wanted to tell her right then that he'd made the same mistake once, that he'd lost everything for believing love alone was enough. But the words stuck in his throat, heavy with 20 years of silence. Lily, shaking. I can't go back in there. I can't face them. Eli, softly. Then don't. Just breathe. You don't have to be brave yet. He reaches for her hand without thinking, gentle, fatherly, and helps her to her feet. For a moment the rain softens. The world slows. She meets his eyes, breathing hard. Lily, quietly. Why do you care so much? Eli's throat tightens. His lips part, but no sound comes. Thunder rumbles again, cutting off his answer. It wasn't time yet. Fate still had one more secret to unravel. And it would come not from his mouth, but from what slipped from his pocket next. As Eli steadies her, the rain loosens the old photograph folded inside his vest. It slips out, landing face up in a puddle. The baby's face half-drenched, still smiling through the years. Lily blinks, confused. Lily, frowning. What's that? Eli looks down and freezes. Rain pours harder, drumming on marble, washing the courtyard in silver light. The soaked photograph floats on the surface of a puddle, edges curling, ink bleeding slightly. A baby's face still visible beneath the ripples. Lily bends down and picks it up before Eli can stop her. Her fingers tremble as she smooths it flat against her palm. Lily, confused. What is this? Eli, quietly. It's nothing. Just something I keep. Lily, pressing. Whose baby is this? Eli's voice catches. His throat works around the truth he's been holding for half his life. Eli, softly. Someone I lost. She studies him. The way his voice shakes. The way he can't meet her eyes. Lily, hurt, angry. Why do you care what happens to me then? You don't even know me. You're just a waiter. Eli flinches like she slapped him, but he doesn't move. Rain runs down his face, disguising tears. Words can wound deeper than cruelty when they come from the one you love without knowing it. But fathers learn to take pain like punishment. Quiet, steady, deserved. Eli, steady but trembling. You're right. I don't know you. Not anymore. Pauses. But I know what it means to see someone you love walk into a storm. Lily, snapping. Then stay out of mine. She turns to leave, but he steps forward. Not to stop her, just to speak over the thunder. Eli, hoarse whisper. You remind me of someone who used to laugh the same way you do. That stops her for a moment. Confusion flickering between fury and sorrow. Lily. Why are you saying this? Who are you? Eli exhales slowly, voice breaking like a dam barely holding back years of grief. Eli. Softly. Someone who should have been there sooner. Lightning flashes, illuminating both their faces, his trembling, hers stunned. The photograph still clutched between them. In that flicker of light, the image becomes clear again. A baby wrapped in a blanket embroidered with the name Lily. Her breath catches. Lily. Barely a whisper. Wait, what did you say? Eli's silence answers for him. The wind tears through the courtyard, snatching the photo from her hands and sending it spiraling into the rain. The truth now out in the open, unspoken but undeniable. Some names break chains when spoken aloud. Others, when discovered, shatter everything. The courtyard glows under intermittent flashes of lightning. The rain softens, just enough for silence to be heard between thunderclaps. The photograph, worn, half-drenched, lands in a puddle between Eli and Lily. The name Lily faintly visible on the baby's blanket. For a moment neither moves, only the storm breathes for them. Lily. Hoarse. That name. Why does it? She kneels, lifting the soaked photo again. The ink runs, but the face of the baby is still there. Round cheeks, tiny smile, eyes that look too familiar. Her hands tremble. Her voice drops to a whisper. Lily. That's me. Eli's head lowers. He doesn't deny it. Lily, faltering. This can't. How did you? Her breath shortens. Where did you even get this? Eli's voice cracks under the weight of 20 years. Eli, softly. I took it the day before you and your mother left. It's all I had left of you. Time collapses between them. 2 decades folding into a single breath. The rain doesn't fall anymore. It feels like the sky itself is holding its breath. Lily stumbles back a step, clutching the photo like a wound. Her lips part, her mind scrambling to make sense of what her heart already knows. Lily, barely audible. You're saying, you're my Eli, interrupting quietly. Your father. The words hang heavy between thunder and tears. Lily, shaking. No, that's not true. My father died before I was born. That's what she told me. Eli, your mother told you I walked away. She lied. Lily, desperate. Stop, please. Eli, softly. I never stopped looking, Lily. Never. She stares at him, disbelief twisting into anguish. Lily, through tears. Why now? Why here? He had imagined this reunion 1,000 ways. Her running into his arms, her calling him Dad. But not like this. Not under thunder, soaked in ruin, surrounded by everything she'd just lost. Lily's hands shake as she looks down at the picture again. Her baby face smiling up at the man she's only just learned is hers. Lily, broken whisper. All this time. Eli can't speak. He simply nods, eyes wet, voice gone. Thunder rolls again. Quieter now, fading into a heavy silence. Lily steps back, her tears mixing with rain. Lily, Tell me everything, Eli nods, breath trembling, the storm dying slowly around them. The storm begins to ease, but the courtyard remains soaked in moonlight and misery. Raindrops slide off the marble fountain as Eli Turner and Lily Montgomery stand across from each other. A lifetime apart, finally face to face. The photograph trembles in Lily's wet hands, her breathing uneven, her eyes wide and red-rimmed. The thunder has quieted, but inside them, the noise hasn't stopped. Lily, shaking. Say it again. I want to hear it. Eli, softly. I'm your father, Lily. She lets out a short, breathless laugh, the kind that comes right before a sob. Lily. No. My mother said… Eli, interrupting. I know what she said. She told you I left. She told you I didn't care. But she didn't tell you how I begged her to stay. Lily, angry, confused. You're lying. She wouldn't. Eli. She thought she was protecting you. From poverty. From me. Beat. I was broke, Lily. We had nothing but love, and sometimes, love isn't enough to keep people from leaving. His voice trembled, but his truth didn't. He'd spent 2 decades practicing this confession, but saying it to her face hurt worse than all the years of silence combined. Lily looks away, blinking hard, her tears mixing with rain. Her fingers clutch the photograph tighter. Lily, low, broken. And all this time, you knew who I was? You saw me and you didn't say anything? Eli takes a step closer, Eli, gently. I saw you smile. I saw you laugh. I saw you happy. And I told myself that was enough. Pauses. I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't ruin your day. Not after all the others I'd already ruined. Lily. You watched me get ready to marry a man who didn't love me. And you said nothing? Eli. Because I didn't want to take your joy away, even if it was built on a lie. I thought maybe if you found happiness, it would make all the pain I caused worth something. Lily wipes her face roughly with the back of her hand. Her voice cracks open. Lily. You think silence is love? That's not love. That's fear. Eli lowers his gaze, his voice soft and frayed. Eli. You're right. It was both. The truth was ugly and raw. But it was theirs now. No more lies from the past. No more ghosts standing between them. Lily looks at him for a long moment. Rain dripping from her hair. Her chest rising and falling with sharp, uneven breaths. Then something in her finally gives. Her voice drops to a whisper. Lily. All this time, I thought my father didn't want me, Eli, through tears. I never stopped wanting you. I just didn't know how to find you. The space between them disappears. Lily's hand lowers the photograph slowly. For the first time, she doesn't pull away when Eli steps closer. The wind calms. The storm finally ends. Lily, barely audible. Then don't lose me again. Eli nods, his breath shaking. A promise reborn in the wreckage of 20 years. The rain has thinned to a soft drizzle, the kind that feels more like a sigh than a storm. The courtyard glows under flickering garden lights, puddles glimmering like broken glass. Eli Turner and Lily Montgomery stand only inches apart, the tension between them heavy but fragile, ready to break into something else. Lily's eyes glisten with disbelief and pain, but also with something unfamiliar. Recognition. Eli's face is raw, open, trembling with emotion. He's kept buried for 2 decades. Lily, voice breaking. You really never stopped looking for me? Eli, softly. Not for a single day. Pauses. I used to dream I'd see you walking down the street one morning, grown up, happy. And now here you are, just not the way I imagined. Lily, through tears. I don't even know you. And yet, I do, Eli, quietly. That's blood. It remembers what we forget. For years, she'd searched for closure in fairy tales and love stories. For years, he'd searched for forgiveness in silence. Now, both stood face to face, realizing neither of them needed perfect endings. Just a beginning that wasn't built on lies. Lily steps forward slowly, unsure, her lip trembling. She studies his face. The wrinkles, the eyes so much like hers, the grief carved deep into every line. Eli doesn't move. He lets her choose. After a long, shaky breath, she closes the space between them. Her arms wrap around him, tight, sudden, desperate, like she's afraid he'll vanish if she waits any longer. Eli exhales, a sound halfway between a sob and a prayer. His hands lift, hesitant, before finally resting around her shoulders. For the first time in 20 years, he lets himself cry. Rain runs down their faces, indistinguishable from tears. In that small, broken courtyard, a father and daughter become real again. From the balcony above, a few guests peek out, their whispers faint in the storm's afterglow. One raises a phone. Flashes go off in the dark. Lily, murmuring against his chest. They're taking pictures. Eli. Horse. Let them. For once I'm not hiding. He presses his forehead to hers, whispering through trembling breath, Eli. I missed your whole life. But if you'll let me, I'll start now. Lily, softly. Then start. The camera pans out. Rain still falling. Two silhouettes locked in the center of the storm's fading light. The storm has ended, but the thunder left echoes in its wake. The ballroom doors burst open. Guests flooding the courtyard, their expensive shoes splashing through puddles, murmurs rising like a hive of wasps. The glow of camera flashes cuts through the mist. Every face watches Eli Turner, the soaked waiter holding the trembling bride who just fled her own wedding. Guest 1, whispering, Who is that man? Guest 2, the waiter. I saw him serving earlier. Guest 3, scoffing. God. The scandal. This will be everywhere by morning. Lily straightens slowly, eyes red, hair clinging to her face. She turns to face them all, chest heaving, ring still glinting on her finger like a cruel reminder. Lily, hoarse, trembling. Don't look at him like that. The crowd stiffens. She takes a step forward, her voice gathering strength. Lily, this man waited tables tonight. He worked while all of you smiled and judged, but he's the only one here who didn't lie to me. A gasp moves through the crowd. The manager hurries toward Eli, whispering harshly. Manager, angry whisper. Turner, step away. You're done here. You've embarrassed the entire staff. Eli doesn't flinch. His arm stays protectively near Lily. Eli, quietly. I've been done for years, sir. You just never noticed. Lily turns to him, eyes burning, proud, defiant. In every room built by power, there's a moment when dignity walks in. Not with money, not with noise, but with truth too heavy to ignore. The groom's mother, Evelyn Callan, pushes through the crowd, face pale with regret. Behind her, David stands frozen, drenched, humiliated. The truth written all over his silence. Lily turns her gaze toward him, her voice steady but raw. Lily, you lied to me. You planned a life on a contract, not love. Beat. And you would have gotten away with it, too, if the man you called the help hadn't shown more heart than you ever could. Gasps ripple through the guests again. David looks away, jaw clenched, unable to speak. Lily, turning back to the crowd. This man isn't just a waiter. He's the reason I know what love actually looks like. Because love doesn't manipulate. It doesn't lie. And it sure as hell doesn't hide behind money. Rain starts again. Light, almost cleansing. Eli stands motionless, tears mixing with it. The same guests who whispered in disgust now watch in quiet awe. Nina, watching from the doorway, murmurs softly. Nina, to herself. That's his daughter. I knew it. Lily takes Eli's hand. Their fingers interlace naturally, as if time itself gives permission. Lily, softly to him. Let's go, Eli. Quietly. Where? Lily. Anywhere that isn't pretending. They turn from the crowd together, soaked, unashamed, walking out into the night. The world had watched them fall apart. Now it would watch them walk away. The storm has become a drizzle now, the kind that glistens against streetlights and turns the air soft. The once glamorous Grand Monarch Hotel looms behind them, its gold lettering blurred by rain and scandal. Eli Turner and Lily Montgomery walk side by side down the empty boulevard, both barefoot, both silent. Her gown drags along the pavement, heavy with mud and water, but she doesn't care. Their silhouettes stretch under the dim glow of street lamps. Father and daughter, reunited not by destiny, but by ruin. There's a strange kind of peace that comes after the world ends. It doesn't roar or burn. It simply exhales, and in that silence, the heart learns to beat again. Lily, softly. They'll talk about this forever. Eli, gentle. Let them. They've talked about me my whole life. Never once said my name right. She lets out a small laugh through her tears. A tired, beautiful sound. Lily, you don't even seem angry. Eli, anger's a luxury for people who still expect something. I lost that a long time ago. They stop under a flickering streetlight. Water drips from the corner of his jacket. She's shivering but smiling faintly. Lily, I don't know where to go now. Eli, then we'll figure it out together. 1 mile at a time. The rain light catches the torn photograph sticking out of Eli's pocket. The baby's face faint but still visible. Lily notices and reaches for it gently, tucking it deeper inside to keep it dry. Neither speaks for a moment. The world had stripped them of everything but each other. And sometimes, that's all a story really needs to begin again. They walk on, hand in hand, the hotel fading behind them like a bad dream. The city lights blur into silver lines on the wet road ahead. Lily, quietly. Maybe we both needed to be broken to find each other. Eli glances at her, smiling softly. Eli. Then let's stay broken. But together. A flickering neon sign hums outside a roadside motel. Its red letters spelling vacancy into the damp night. Inside, the room is small, worn and warm. Walls faded by years of stories. A single lamp buzzing in the corner. Eli Turner sits on the edge of the bed, a towel around his shoulders, staring at the old photograph now drying on the nightstand. Across from him, Lily Montgomery sits curled up in an oversized hoodie, her wedding gown folded neatly in the corner like the ghost of a life she didn't live. The rain patters softly against the window, gentle, forgiving. Lily, quietly. So, this is how you've lived? Motel rooms, late nights, always waiting? Eli, half smile. Pretty much. Waiting tables. Waiting for a reason. Pauses. Waiting for you. She looks down at her hands, fingers tracing the rim of a chipped coffee mug. Lily, I thought you were dead. Eli. Some days I thought I was too. The silence that follows isn't awkward. It's heavy but human, like a weight they can finally share. Grief isn't loud. Sometimes it just sits quietly between two people, watching them remember how to speak again. Lily leans back against the headboard, pulling her knees close. Her voice softens, fragile. Lily, do you ever wonder what would have happened if Mom stayed? Eli exhales slowly, staring at the window fogging with rain. Eli, every day, beat. But maybe if she hadn't left, we wouldn't be here right now. Pauses, looks at her. And I wouldn't trade this for anything, Lily, smiling faintly. Even after everything? Eli, gently. Especially after everything. She studies him for a long moment. The quiet man who once was a stranger, now the only person who feels familiar. Her voice breaks when she speaks again. Lily, you waited 20 years just to talk to me? Eli nods once, his voice barely above a whisper. Eli, talking to you now was worth every silent one before it. Outside, the storm finally dies. Inside, the air fills with something softer. Forgiveness. Not the loud kind, the kind that simply arrives and stays. The lamp flickers once, then steadies. Lily reaches across the table and gently takes her father's hand. Lily, softly. I think I finally know what home feels like. Eli squeezes her hand. No words, no tears. Just peace. The motel room is dim, the only light coming from the flickering neon outside the rain-speckled window. Lily lies awake, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. The soft rhythm of her father's breathing fills the silence. She clutches the old photograph in her hand. The edges frayed. The baby's smile now a mirror of the ache in her chest. Her eyes drift shut, and memory takes over. Flashback begins. A sunlit living room from years ago. A young Lily, maybe 7, sits cross-legged on the carpet surrounded by crayons and picture books. Her mother, elegant and coldly beautiful, sits on a velvet sofa, phone pressed to her ear, speaking in clipped tones. Little Lily. "Mommy, when will Daddy come back?" The mother pauses mid-call, forcing a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Mother. "Sweetheart, your father's gone. He didn't want to stay." Little Lily, frowning. But he said, "Mother," sharply. "He left us, Lily. Men like him always leave. We don't need him." The girl nods slowly, eyes dropping to the floor, believing because children always believe first. Lies, when told with conviction, become lullabies. And Lily grew up humming that one for 20 years. Until tonight. Back in the present, Lily's eyes open suddenly, tears sliding down her temples. The neon light paints her face in soft red glow as realization hits her all over again. Lily, whispering to herself, "She made me hate you. For nothing." Her voice cracks on the last word. She covers her mouth, trying not to wake Eli, but he stirs slightly, turning toward her in his sleep. Peaceful for once. She looks at him through blurred eyes, her heart twisting between love and anger. Forgiveness doesn't erase betrayal. It only teaches the heart where to stop bleeding. Lily sits up, brushing her tears away. She takes a deep breath. The kind that feels like the start of something new. Lily, softly to herself. "She took my truth once. I won't let her take it again." She glances at the window, dawn creeping over the horizon. Tomorrow there will be a reckoning. The morning light pours through the thin motel curtains, warm, gold, and deceptively gentle. The rain has stopped completely. The world feels washed clean. Though inside the small room, the air hangs heavy with anticipation. Eli Turner stands by the kitchenette, making coffee in a paper cup. His movements are slow, deliberate. A man savoring peace he doesn't trust to last. Behind him, Lily Montgomery sits by the window, staring out at the distant highway, still in silence. Her face is calm, but her eyes burn with something cold. Truth waiting for its target. A sharp knock breaks the stillness. Eli looks up, Eli, softly. "You expecting someone?" Lily doesn't move. She just exhales. "Lily, I think I know who it is." Eli opens the door, and there she is. Margaret, Lily's mother, elegant as ever, though the years have hardened her beauty. Her pearls glint against a dark coat, her hair perfectly in place, but her eyes flicker with panic and pride. "Margaret, so it's true. You found her." Eli steps aside without a word. She enters, her heels clicking against the cracked linoleum. A sound too sharp for a space this small. "Margaret," to Lily. "You left me humiliated, running away like some." Lily, interrupting, calm but firm. "Like someone who finally saw through your lies." Margaret freezes, her composure cracking for the first time. Margaret, "Excuse me?" Lily, "You said my father abandoned us. That he didn't care," holds up the old photo. "Then explain this." Margaret's jaw tightens, but no words come. Eli, quietly, "You didn't have to make me the villain, Margaret. Leaving was enough." Margaret, snapping, "You think love pays bills? You had nothing, Eli. I gave her a future." Lily, angry, "You gave me a lie to live in." The words hit hard, final, fierce. Margaret stumbles back, speechless, her pride crumbling. The truth, once spoken aloud, doesn't echo. It detonates. Quietly, completely. Margaret turns to Lily, voice trembling now. "Margaret, You think he's some kind of hero? You have no idea what life was like back then. Lily, steady. Maybe not. But I know what life feels like now. Honest. The silence that follows is colder than the storm. Margaret's eyes glisten, rage and heartbreak at war behind them. She straightens, gripping her purse with shaking hands. Margaret, low. You'll regret this. Lily. Lily, softly final. No, Mom. I'll finally live with it. Margaret leaves. The door slams shut, a sound that feels more like closure than loss. The door's echo still hums through the small motel room, like the last note of a song no one wants to replay. Lily stands motionless for a moment, her back to the door, her chest rising and falling with the weight of everything unsaid. Eli Turner remains seated at the small table, his weathered hands folded in front of him, eyes steady but kind, waiting, not speaking. The air between them feels fragile and new, as if the wrong word could shatter it. Or set it free, Eli, softly. You didn't have to say all that, Lily, turning to him. Yes, I did. Beat. I've been quiet my whole life. Polite, obedient, always trying not to make waves. I learned that from her. She walks toward the window, sunlight cutting across her face. Her voice grows stronger with each word. Lily, she left you because you were poor. She raised me to believe love had to come with money. Safety, status, conditions. Pauses, voice trembling but resolute. I'm done living her definition of love. Eli's eyes soften, pride flickering beneath his exhaustion. Eli, gentle. You sound like your mother when she was young, before the world changed her. Lily, half smile. Then maybe I'll finish the story she couldn't. Some people inherit wealth, others inherit wounds, but the strongest ones learn how to spend their pain differently. To build, not to buy. Lily takes a deep breath, picking up the dried photograph from the nightstand. She looks at it one last time before sliding it carefully into her purse. Lily, softly, you left him because he was poor. Beat. I'm leaving you because you're cold. Her tone isn't cruel. It's final, calm, and utterly free. Eli watches, his eyes glistening but full of quiet pride. Eli. You've got my stubborn streak. Lily, smiling faintly. Guess it finally paid off. Late afternoon light filters through the clouds as Eli Turner and Lily Montgomery walk through the quiet streets near the old hotel district. The chaos of the wedding feels like another lifetime now. Distant sirens, faded headlines, and 100 whispers behind them. Ahead, the once bright world looks simple, new, and possible. They pass a cafe where staff are gossiping over newspapers. Bride leaves, millionaire groom at the altar. Lily pulls her hood over her head, smiling shyly at her father. Lily, half laughing. Guess we made the morning news. Eli, dry. Took me 20 years to make headlines. Didn't expect it to be for that. They both laugh, the kind that sounds like release. A black car pulls up beside them. Out steps Mr. Delaney, the owner of the Grand Monarch Hotel. Sharp suit, gold watch, and the look of a man who's seen opportunity in every disaster. Delaney. Turner. Didn't think I'd find you this easily. Eli turns, cautious but polite. Eli. Sir, if you're here to collect a uniform, I left it behind. Delaney, smiling. Not at all. I came to offer you a job. Permanent position. Supervisor role. You handled last night's chaos better than anyone. Lily glances at her father, waiting for his reaction. Eli nods slowly, thoughtful. Eli. I appreciate that. But I think I've served enough tables for one lifetime. Delaney, surprised. You're turning it down? Eli's gaze drifts to Lily, her hair tousled, her eyes alive again. Eli, softly. Yeah, it's time I build my own. Some offers come with titles and paychecks. Others come with peace, and a second chance to make something that's yours. Delaney studies him for a long moment, then nods with respect. Delaney. Good luck, Turner. You've earned it. He walks back to his car and drives away. Lily looks at her father, smiling faintly. Lily. So, what now, Eli? Grinning. We start small. The best things always do. They walk off toward the setting sun, silhouettes fading into gold. A neon diner sign flickers a few blocks ahead. For lease. Lily points at it, eyes lighting up. Lily, that one's calling your name. She turns toward him, hand on the doorknob. Lily. Let's go, Dad. I think we've got a life to start. Eli stands, the word Dad lingering in the air like sunlight breaking through clouds. Sometimes, freedom doesn't come from walking away. It comes from choosing who you walk with. Late afternoon light filters through the clouds as Eli Turner and Lily Montgomery walk through the quiet streets near the old hotel district. The chaos of the wedding feels like another lifetime now. Distant sirens, faded headlines, and 100 whispers behind them. Ahead, the once bright world looks simple, new, and possible. They pass a cafe where staff are gossiping over newspapers. Bride leaves, millionaire groom at the altar. Lily pulls her hood over her head, smiling shyly at her father. Lily, half laughing. Guess we made the morning news. Eli, dry. Took me 20 years to make headlines. Didn't expect it to be for that. They both laugh, the kind that sounds like release. A black car pulls up beside them. Out steps Mr. Delaney, the owner of the Grand Monarch Hotel. Sharp suit, gold watch, and the look of a man who's seen opportunity in every disaster. Delaney. Turner. Didn't think I'd find you this easily. Eli turns, cautious but polite. Eli. Sir, if you're here to collect a uniform, I left it behind. Delaney, smiling. Not at all. I came to offer you a job. Permanent position. Supervisor role. You handled last night's chaos better than anyone. Lily glances at her father, waiting for his reaction. Eli nods slowly, thoughtful. Eli. I appreciate that. But I think I've served enough tables for one lifetime. Delaney, surprised. You're turning it down? Eli's gaze drifts to Lily, her hair tousled, her eyes alive again. Eli, softly. Yeah, it's time I build my own. Some offers come with titles and paychecks. Others come with peace, and a second chance to make something that's yours. Delaney studies him for a long moment, then nods with respect. Delaney. Good luck, Turner. You've earned it. He walks back to his car and drives away. Lily looks at her father, smiling faintly. Lily. So, what now, Eli? Grinning. We start small. The best things always do. They walk off toward the setting sun, silhouettes fading into gold. A neon diner sign flickers a few blocks ahead. For lease. Lily points at it, eyes lighting up. Lily. That one's calling your name. The open highway stretches endlessly under a warm golden sky. Fields of wildflowers blur by in streaks of yellow and green. The air hums with the sound of old tires and freedom. A weathered pickup truck rattles down the road. Its windows rolled down, radio humming a faint country tune. Inside, Eli Turner drives with one hand on the wheel, wind teasing his graying hair. Lily Montgomery sits in the passenger seat, bare feet on the dashboard, laughing softly as her hair whips across her face. A faded cassette player clicks and crackles to life, an old song her father used to love. Lily, grinning. You still listen to tapes? Eli shrugs. They don't skip when life does. She laughs, shaking her head. Lily, you're impossible. Eli, and you're your mother's daughter, stubborn enough to keep me alive this long. The air between them fills with quiet warmth, not the forced kind, but the kind that exists between two people learning each other all over again. There's something holy about a road with no destination. Just two souls driving toward forgiveness, mile by mile. They stop at a roadside diner, peeling paint, vintage signs. the smell of coffee and bacon seeping into the air. Eli steps out, stretching his back, while Lily walks toward a small notice taped to the door. For lease, inquire within. She glances back at him, eyes bright. Lily, you said you wanted to build your own table. Beat. What if we built a whole diner around it? Eli laughs, the deep, surprised kind that sounds like the first real one in years. Eli, smiling. You serious? Lily. Dead serious. Eli. Then I guess we better start cooking. Sometimes redemption doesn't arrive in grand gestures. Just a father with rough hands, a daughter with a dream, and a little diner on the edge of nowhere waiting to be loved back to life. As the sun dips low, they climb back into the truck. The horizon burns orange and red, the same colors as rebirth. Lily leans her head on Eli's shoulder, the cassette still playing softly. Lily, whispering, "Can we start over?" Eli smiles, eyes glinting in the mirror's reflection. Eli, "We already did." The truck drives on into the fading light, two shadows against the gold. A sign passes by on the roadside. Welcome to Clearwater County. Home is where you make it. A few weeks later, the morning sun spills through the dusty front windows of a small roadside diner. Once abandoned, now alive again with sound and color. Lily Montgomery stands on a wooden stool, painting a faded wall a warm cream. The smell of fresh coffee fills the air. A small chalkboard out front reads in her handwriting, "Coming soon. Turner's Table, home served daily." Eli Turner is behind the counter, sleeves rolled up, fixing a squeaky shelf. His movements are slow but certain. A craftsman's rhythm, a father's patience. Lily, smiling, "You sure you know how to build all this?" Eli, grinning, "Nope. But I've spent my life fixing things I didn't break. This can't be harder." She laughs, hopping down from the stool and wiping her hands on her jeans. Lily, "It's weird. I never thought the smell of grease and coffee could feel like hope." Eli, "It's not weird. It's healing." Pauses. "Smells like home to me. They didn't have money, or plans, or investors, but they had purpose. And that was worth more than any inheritance ever written in marble." Eli teaches her how to flip pancakes without burning them, his laughter booming as one lands on the floor. Lily pretends to scold him, flicking flour at his shirt. He retaliates with a playful splash of batter, both laughing until their sides ache. The camera lingers on the site. A kitchen once empty, now alive again. Lily, giggling, "We're a disaster." Eli, "Nah, we're just under construction." She rolls her eyes but smiles, the kind of smile that finally reaches her heart. You can't rebuild the past, but you can turn the ruins into something worth coming home to. They hang a small photo on the wall near the counter. The old baby picture of Lily, now framed beside a new one. Eli and Lily standing outside the diner, holding mugs of coffee, smiling. Eli looks at the two photos side by side. The child he lost, and the woman he found. Eli, softly, "You've always had my hands." Lily, quiet smile, "And your heart." They share a long, warm look, one filled with everything words could never fix. Outside, the sign is finally lit. Turner's Table, grand opening tomorrow. The camera pans to the sunrise reflecting on the window. Some people search the world for miracles. Others build theirs, one nail, one smile, one morning at a time. 1 year later, morning sunlight floods through the big glass windows of Turner's Table, now a bustling roadside diner filled with laughter, coffee cups, and the clatter of breakfast plates. The air smells like cinnamon and butter. Country music hums softly from an old radio. Eli Turner wipes the counter with a towel, his movements steady, content. He greets customers by name, a mailman, 2 truckers, a teacher. All regulars now. Lily Montgomery moves gracefully between tables, smiling easily, her hair tied up in a messy bun, a small silver pendant of a heart-shaped locket resting on her neck. The door chimes open. A young journalist steps in, notebook in hand, eyes wide with curiosity. Journalist, smiling. "Excuse me, Mr. Turner? I'm Jenna from the Clearwater Chronicle. We're doing a feature on small-town success stories. People can't stop talking about your diner." Eli chuckles softly. "Eli. Success story? You sure you've got the right address?" "Jenna. You went from waiting tables to running your own. That's a story if I've ever heard one." Lily brings over 2 coffees, setting one in front of her father and one for Jenna. Lily, smiling. "He won't admit it, but he's the reason this place exists." Eli glances at her with quiet affection. "Eli. Nah. This place started the moment she walked back into my life. I just happened to hold the hammer." Jenna smiles, scribbling notes. "Jenna, that's beautiful. Mind if I get a photo for the article?" Eli nods, and Lily leans in beside him behind the counter. The camera clicks, capturing the soft light, the pride in his smile, and the peace in hers. For the first time in his life, Eli Turner wasn't invisible. He wasn't the help, the background, or the forgotten. He was the man who built something lasting, and the father who finally got his home back. Jenna finishes her notes, smiling warmly. "Jenna. Thank you, Mr. Turner. Any message you'd like to share with people who'll read your story?" Eli looks at Lily, then at the framed photos on the wall, the one of her as a baby beside their new diner portrait. Eli, smiling softly. "Yeah? Don't stop waiting for the right moment. Sometimes it's waiting for you too." The camera pans to the framed photo behind the counter. Turner's table from waiter to father. Reborn. The radio plays a soft guitar tune as the screen fades to gold. Evening settles softly over Turner's table. The diner is closed for the night. Chairs flipped on tables. Lights dim to a golden hush. Through the large window, fireflies flicker over the field beyond the highway. Lily Montgomery stands alone by the counter, holding a small box in her hands. She opens it slowly. Inside lies her unused wedding ring, gleaming faintly in the lamplight. There are things you think you'll wear forever. A ring, a dream, a version of yourself that belonged to someone else's idea of happiness. Until one day, you realize it was never yours to begin with. Lily walks to the back of the diner, where Eli keeps a small fire pit outside for late-night coffee warmth. The air is cool, still, and full of cricket song. She kneels, places the ring on a stack of old newspapers, and strikes a match. Flames catch, soft and amber. The ring glows, reflecting tiny bursts of light before turning black in the heat. Lily, softly to herself. "Goodbye to what almost was, and thank you for showing me what never should have been." She watches the flames dance, tears in her eyes, but a calm smile on her lips. Eli steps quietly into view behind her, drying his hands with a towel. He doesn't speak right away. "Eli, you sure you want to burn that? Could have pawned it." She laughs, shaking her head. "Lily, some things are worth more as ashes." He nods approvingly, sitting beside her on the small wooden bench. The firelight flickers across their faces, warmth reflected in both their eyes. In another life, that ring might have been a symbol of forever. In this one, it was proof that she chose herself instead. Lily takes a deep breath, watching the smoke rise into the night sky. She leans her head on her father's shoulder, the two sitting in silence as the last ember fades. Lily, whispering, "Maybe love isn't what we receive. Maybe it's what we return." Eli looks at her, eyes soft with pride. "Eli, then you finally understand what I've been trying to live by." The fire dies completely, leaving behind faint curls of smoke that drift upward toward the stars. Lily smiles, peaceful. Sometimes you have to let something burn to feel light again. A quiet morning fills Turner's table. Sunlight drifting through lace curtains, dust motes floating like gold. The diner is still closed, its usual hum replaced by silence and the soft ticking of the clock above the door. Eli Turner sits at the counter, glasses perched low on his nose, a steaming mug beside him. Before him lies a half-written letter, the paper creased and smudged, the pen trembling slightly in his hand. He pauses, takes a deep breath, and begins to write. Letter. Eli's writing, Lily. By the time you read this, the diner will probably smell like coffee again, and you'll be yelling at the old fryer for smoking too much. I want you to know something I never said right. Not even when I finally got the chance to talk to you. You didn't just save me. You reminded me I was still worth saving. The camera glides over the diner. The baby photo on the wall. The framed newspaper clipping titled, From Waiter to Father Reborn. The sunlight reflecting off polished countertops. Eli's voice continues, soft but sure. Letter. I spent years thinking my purpose was to serve. To make other people's lives easier. To stay quiet and unnoticed. But the day you called me Dad, everything shifted. Turns out, I was never meant to serve tables. I was meant to serve love. And you made me remember how. He pauses, wiping his eyes behind his glasses, smiling faintly. He adds one final paragraph, pressing the pen firmly as if sealing the words with his soul. If the world ever feels heavy again, come back to Turner's Table. You'll find me there, in every laugh, every pancake, every sunrise through that window. You gave an old man his home back, love always. Dad. Eli folds the letter carefully and slips it into a small envelope marked with Lily's name. He places it inside the diner's cash register. A habit, he jokes, for things too valuable to lose. He takes one last sip of coffee, looking around the diner with quiet pride. The bell over the door jingles softly as Lily enters, her laughter bright, her hair messy from the wind. Lily, smiling. Morning, old man. You writing me another shopping list? Eli smiles back, eyes warm. Eli, something like that. The camera pans to the envelope left behind on the counter as they begin their morning routine. Together. It's sunrise. The same golden light that once fell over. Storms and heartbreak now spills gently over. Turner's Table. A small crowd gathers outside the diner, the parking lot strung with fairy lights and paper banners that read, 1 year of Turner's Table. Love served warm. Laughter drifts in the air. The smell of pancakes, coffee, and nostalgia fills the space. Inside, Eli Turner moves with practiced ease behind the counter, wearing a crisp white apron and a proud smile that seems to have erased 20 years from his face. Lily Montgomery arranges wildflowers on the tables, her joy quiet but luminous. Nina, teasing. You two sure this is a diner and not a church? Half the town's here like it's Sunday Mass. Eli, grinning. Well, pancakes are holy if you make 'em right. Lily laughs, giving him a playful shove. Lily, don't make the customers worship your cooking, Dad. Just serve it, Eli. Too late, they already do. The laughter rolls through the diner, warm and alive. 1 year ago, this place was just a broken building off a forgotten road. Now it's where stories end and begin, where second chances come with syrup and sunlight. Eli steps to the front counter as the crowd quiets. He taps a spoon against a glass, clearing his throat. Eli, addressing everyone. Thank you all for being part of this dream. I spent most of my life serving strangers, but this last year, I've been serving family. He glances at Lily. His voice softens. Eli, every plate we serve here is proof that broken things can still feed the world. The crowd applauds softly. Not loud, but deeply sincere. At the back corner table, a young couple holds hands. An older man reads a newspaper, and kids giggle over milkshakes. Every person in the room carries a quiet peace, a reflection of the man behind the counter. Lily walks up beside Eli and slides a small cake onto the counter. A single candle flickers on top. Lily, smiling. Make a wish, Dad. Eli closes his eyes, the candlelight dancing across his lined face. He didn't wish for wealth or fame. He wished that this feeling, this quiet fullness, would last just a little longer. As he blows out the candle, applause fills the diner. The camera pans toward the framed sign near the door. Love served warm with a side of forgiveness. Evening falls over Turner's table, but tonight, it's more than a diner. It's a stage. The tables are pushed to the sides, fairy lights glow across the ceiling, and the soft hum of conversation quiets as Lily Montgomery steps up to a small microphone near the counter. A single guitar rests in her hands, old, slightly out of tune, but loved. Her father, Eli Turner, stands behind the counter wiping a glass, pretending not to watch too closely, though his eyes can't leave her. Lily, nervous laugh. Hi everyone. Most of you know me as the girl who burns the toast and forgets the coffee orders. Pauses. But tonight, I wanted to do something for my dad. Something that isn't on the menu. She strums the first few notes. The diner quiets. Eli, softly from the back. Lord, help me if she sings about me burning pancakes. Laughter ripples through the room, breaking her nerves. She smiles. The music begins, slow, raw, tender. Her voice, fragile at first, grows stronger with each word. You worked the night shift and slept through your dreams. Built a home out of nothing but coffee and steam. They said you were broken. But I finally see. You were just saving the best parts for me. There are moments that silence every scar. When sound becomes healing, and words become home. For Eli, this was one of them. Tears fill Eli's eyes as Lily's voice fills the diner. Every lyric paints his life. The storms, the loneliness, the quiet strength that carried them both here. Song, final verse. So here's to the man who waited his turn. Who taught me that love is the lesson you earn. You gave me a name, you gave me a place, and I found my heart in your weathered face. Her voice breaks softly on the last line, but she keeps playing, smiling through tears. The crowd stands. The applause starts gentle, then swells like a tide. Lily, wiping her eyes. Guess that's the first song I ever wrote, and the only one that matters. The crowd cheers again. Eli walks forward slowly, pride and emotion etched deep in his expression. He pulls her into his arms, Eli, whispering, "That's my girl." It wasn't fame, it wasn't fortune, but for Eli Turner, it was everything he ever waited for. A love returned, a story rewritten, a song that would never fade. As the camera pans out, the lights glow softer. Lily and Eli sit together on the counter's edge, guitar between them, laughter echoing under the hum of the neon sign. Midnight at Turner's table. The diner is finally still. Chairs back in place, counters wiped clean, the closed sign glowing faintly in the window. A soft hum comes from the neon sign outside, its red and gold light bathing the empty booths in a warm, sleepy glow. Eli Turner sits in his usual spot at the counter, sipping coffee gone cold. Across from him, Lily Montgomery leans her head on her folded arms, half asleep, her guitar resting beside her. The world outside is quiet. No storms, no crowds, no chaos. Just peace. Eli, softly. You planning to sleep here or should I carry you to the truck again? Lily, muffled laugh. 5 more minutes. The counter's surprisingly comfortable. Eli, smirking. Yeah, tell that to the health inspector. She chuckles, not lifting her head, and he smiles, a small, knowing smile that holds decades of missed moments and brand new ones made up for. There are no fireworks in real peace, no applause, no grand endings. Just the quiet knowing that you made it through, and you didn't do it alone. Eli looks around the diner, eyes settling on all the little things they built together. The mismatched chairs, the crooked clock, the framed photos on the wall. Every imperfection feels sacred now. He pulls out the old baby photograph, still slightly wrinkled, but protected in a new frame. He sets it beside the coffee machine where it will stay. A reminder of the journey that rebuilt them both. Lily, sleepily. You ever think about what would have happened if none of this did? Eli, gently. All the time. Pauses, smiling. But then I look at you and I stop. The world hadn't given them everything. It had taken most things away. But in the end, It left them with exactly what mattered. Lily lifts her head, looking at him through sleepy eyes. Lily, softly. We didn't get a wedding. Eli smiles, shaking his head. Eli. No, but we got a lifetime. The neon light flickers gently, humming like a lullaby. Early dawn paints Turner's table in shades of soft amber and blue. The night fog curls low across the quiet road outside, and the first rays of sunlight stretch lazily through the glass windows, landing on the counter where Eli Turner and Lily Montgomery fell asleep. A single coffee cup rests between them. The closed sign sways gently on the door. The diner, once a forgotten roadside ruin, now glows like a sanctuary in the morning light. Morning comes quietly for those who've earned it. No applause, no noise, just the steady hum of a world that's finally kind again. Eli stirs first, stretching his back with a soft groan. He watches his daughter sleeping across the counter, her cheek pressed to her arm, strands of hair falling over her face. He smiles, slow and full, his eyes wet but peaceful. He stands, pours a fresh cup of coffee, and watches the sun rise through the window, the light catching the framed photo on the wall. Lily as a baby, beside their diner's first-day picture. He places the cup down and whispers to himself, Eli, softly. We made it, kid. We really made it. Lily stirs, eyes fluttering open. She squints at him, smiling sleepily. Lily, is it morning already? Eli, smiling. It always is, eventually. They stand together by the window as the sun breaks fully over the horizon, painting their reflections across the glass. Two lives once lost to circumstance, now rebuilt in light. Outside, a lone truck slows, the driver peering at the "Open Soon" sign. Inside, Lily flips it to "Open." Life didn't owe them peace. It didn't promise second chances. But somehow, it gave them both. One morning, one meal, one moment at a time. The camera pans out slowly. The diner small against the vast sky. The road stretching endlessly ahead. The neon sign flickers softly, still glowing red in the sunlight. Turner's table. Sometimes the richest moments come to those who never stop waiting. And sometimes, waiting is how love finds its way home.